Citizen science is maybe the new label that people are trying, a new way of dealing with science. But you could maybe see the whole resistance against fact science, against IPCC, maybe more as a form of emancipation, where people try to engage, and that science is not something for the elite with a gown, but it's something of everybody. So my question is, to what extent does your study and your approach to science help us to facilitate that emancipation, that what you could call in Dutch something like volksverheerlijking, the labor parliament? I cannot resist saying that. Because in your study, you claim to study the question, how do you know? So how can we understand how people understand the world? But in fact, I think you analyze a lot how people somehow claim that they know something. And you even say that yourself, you don't focus on the claims, on the content of the claims themselves, but on the fact whether or not people claim expertise. But then again, at the very last pages of your study, you've just been talking about that, you actually move beyond this, and you do address the content of the claims. So you say, actually, we need other languages than the scientific language to address what's really important for us. So I was wondering, does the conversation analysis approach, as you have been doing it, give you enough basis to address what's really at stake in our democratic society? Maybe with a small example, is there time? Yeah, 1 minute to explain this in the context of the current debate on vaccination. So I think two debates or two arguments are typically now on the table. One is people claiming that the vaccines harm you. The other is it's big pharma behind it and that you're going to make money and you're just in their game. And I think in both cases, the content of the claims is really important. In the first case, scientists claim that the people in the country do not understand science because they are not harmful. And in the second case, people say, well, actually the claims that big pharma makes are not true because, in fact, we don't need the vaccine. And the solution only seems to be at the level of the arguments themselves and emancipating to take part in a good discussion and comparing the frameworks of interpretation that we have in order to discuss at that level. So, to what extent could your approach maybe help this form of emancipation?
Like every method, conversation analysis has its strength and its limitations. And so it will certainly not able on its own to address these issues because it also has to do with, for instance, the funding of scientific research. What I do think that conversation analysis can make an important contribution to is indeed in helping to compare these various frameworks of interpretation by making clear how do people claim to know, what kinds of knowledge claims are treated as trustworthy, and with that it might be able to go beyond the dichotomies of the experts.
Meneer de rector,